Time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. A cold low-pressure system continues to send a series of cold fronts through the northwest and into California with rain and higher elevation snow. A stationary front in Florida combined with ample moisture will produce areas of heavy rain that could cause flooding. An upper-level system will produce locally heavy rain in the Ohio Valley. Now closer to home, partly to mostly sunny skies, showers peppered in the region tomorrow night through Sunday. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. Well, let's get right to it.
This is the victim, Richard Welch, mayoral candidate for Cloudcroft. He says his Tuesday night meet and greet event was crashed by Matt Crecelius and Brianna Martinez. He says it has to do with who he endorsed as well as who he voted for to serve as the Democratic Party of Otero County Chair. These are the aggressors, Matt Crecelius and Brianna Martinez. Not only can they not be officers with the DPOC since it was disbanded, but they also obviously believe that the rules do not apply to them. With the youth and inexperience that Martinez holds, blended with the anger, violent outbursts, and overall ludicrous behavior of Crecelius, one can't help but wonder how far they will take their actions. Will it result in someone getting hurt? What you are about to listen to is real. One participant is not an actor. He is the actual victim of harassment. We will discuss it now in our forum, the Court of Public Opinion. Oh, and by the way, you have to be old like us to understand the basis for this parody.
Was that last part needed? Yesterday, we spoke about Cloudcroft mayoral candidate Richard Welch regarding his meet and greet event getting crashed.
How have I lied to you? Sit here and do. Don't ask me what you're going to sit here and do. You're going to be very specific, and you're not going to generalize, and you're going to tell me exactly how I've lied to you.
You've lied, and it's happened.
So evidence for lies was that he was lying?
That is generalization. Do you mind telling me how I lied?
You told me you were pretty. So we bring up the screenshots, the other stuff we have in our report?
I don't care. Bring up whatever you want. Right here, right now.
Yeah, but you came here and brought it up. We need to see.
You want to come up here and call me a liar? Well, I want to know how you call me a liar.
Well, it's easy because you lied.
Well, that was the start of this mess. In Cloudcroft 2 days ago, Richard Welch was faced with two visitors at his rally he was not expecting.
My name is Richard Welch.
Matt Crecelius, nice to meet you.
Matt Crecelius. I know you. We've had some arguments on Facebook. I've had to know you too, because we've had some arguments on Facebook too.
Matthew said he wanted to get up in my face and have a fight. At first I told him, I really don't want to do this right now, but he kept insisting. And so I said, fine, you want to do this? Let's do this. Anthony, I've been a guy that I've never backed down from a fight in my entire life, and I wasn't going to start yesterday with him.
So will this impact his run for mayor?
If you want somebody that's going to stand up and fight for you, I'm the guy because I've been doing it all my life.
Okay, how is this being allowed? Who is authorizing this? We reached out to the Democratic Party of New Mexico, who replied by email. Democrat Executive Director Sean Ward denies any responsibility since the event was not a Democratic Party of New Mexico activity. He says it's like going to the Girl Scouts when a student misbehaves.
Did that sound a lot better in your head?
Yes, it did.
No, Sean. This is a couple of thugs representing you and the Democratic Party disrupting an independent candidate's rally for no reason other than they don't like him. Videos of the event are spreading online, so here is what I see. The DPNM will be sued over this and then ask how the hell this happened. Moderates and indies will be turned off by the Democrats, and the Democrats have made clear in the past few years a lack of condemnation is an endorsement. I mean, they made that pretty clear with January 6th, did they not? Finally, Matt Crecelius will flip his lid and someone is going to get hurt. I really hope I'm wrong on that one, but I don't know that I am. More on this story has been posted on AlamogordoTownNews.com and our YouTube channel. J.P. Barella spoke with us yesterday on the upcoming Republican Party of Otero County meeting.
At 6 p.m., which we have our Republican candidate that we're interested in involving their party to help them. There is a few other Republicans out there, but they want to do it on their own, and that's fine. But we have candidates out of Tularosa, we have candidates out of Cloudcroft, and we have candidates in Alamogordo, and we're there to support our party candidates and help them get elected.
You can hear the interview in its entirety on the Crazy Radio KALH YouTube channel. The annual Veterans Day Parade is just around the corner.
We have contacted the Chamber of Commerce, and the application form is on their website, and you can fill it out online and just, leave it with them, or you can download it and fax it to them, or you can drop it off at the Chamber of Commerce.
Richard McElderry speaking with Crazy Radio. Well, today is Thursday. Let's go to our good friend, Pastor Lauren Noble.
I was thinking the other day about the old story and the childhood story that many of us know about Rip Van Winkle, and was wondering if somehow I became him. Somehow along the way, I must have went to sleep and taken a very long nap, and when I awakened, people were identifying as the opposite sex, using pronouns to identify themselves, attempting to change their gender, and I found that somehow along the way, I'm now living in a world that I do not understand. I just do not comprehend the world that I live in, and when all of this going on about, identifying as and that, and I'm kind of confused sometimes, and I think a lot of us in the older generation really truly are confused about what's going on and wondering, did all of us go to sleep and just wake up and miss something? And I just pray that the Lord will have mercy on us, and that's about what I can say about all of this, about I identify as and living in a world I don't know. Lord, have mercy. But let me say a prayer for us. Lord, I do pray you'll have mercy on us, and that someday that America and the rest of the world might return back to the normalcy we once knew of people being what they are and what you designed them to be and created them to be, and being okay with that. Amen. Until we meet up again on the air. Waves made by God richly bless you and keep you.
News from around the state in just a moment. You're listening to Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
AlamogordoTownNews.com is a locally owned website featuring local news matters from a local perspective that affects you, and we bring it to you directly. Plus, local sports, cultural arts, and events. Online, AlamogordoTownNews.com. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County.
Devonna Chavez, the mother of 3 accused of shooting her 7-year-old son last week in the head, is not going to remain in jail following yesterday's pretrial detention hearing. The New Mexico Children, Families, and Youth Department report the little boy is speaking and eating and is now expected to recover, which is a complete 180 from the original report from the Albuquerque Police Department. They said he was not expected to survive. That's good news that he's going to live, not so good that she's going to get out. Prosecutor Stephen Lane argues that Devonna Chavez shows a pattern of taking relatively minor events and then escalating them with deadly force.
This defendant, Judge, has a history of reckless behavior involving firearms in the presence of her children in the context of a domestic dispute.
This isn't the first time this woman's done this.
This is just criminally reckless behavior that this defendant has consistently engaged in the presence of her children. She's creating very real zones of danger for her own children.
Investigators say Chavez got into a verbal altercation with her boyfriend last week when she accused him of cheating on her. She took her 4 children and 2 other adults into one room of the home, and the fight began. Now, this led to Chavez allegedly shooting him. Investigators say the bullet traveled through his leg and then hit the young boy in the head.
They were afraid. They were all afraid, and they were hiding.
Rose Osborne, the defense attorney.
What happened here was really not her fault. It was because this man kept harassing her and the rest of her family.
Not her fault that she held and fired a weapon? That's the Alec Baldwin defense. I was holding it and pulled the trigger, but it's totally not my fault. Come on! Second Judicial District Court Judge Rudolfo released Chavez, but she's going to have to stay with her mom in Los Lunas, follow a list of other conditions, one of which is she must not have any communication with her children. Now, looking at her story, obviously this woman follows the rules to the letter, so nothing to worry about, right? Oh, Chavez has also been charged with trafficking controlled substances. Investigators found 200 fentanyl pills and over 10 grand in cash in her home. The question asking if the current New Mexico election boundary map is legal began the search for an answer yesterday in the lawsuit brought by the New Mexico Republican Party, which accuses the legislature of gerrymandering redrawn congressional districts. So what is gerrymandering?
Well, gerrymandering is when you draw lines in order to give favor to one group or another. For instance, the eastern side of the state is very Republican, and so what the gerrymandered maps did was split Chaves County into three pieces, Lee County right down the middle. Eddy County was also divided, as was Lincoln County, so heavy Republican areas, and those votes were then pushed to align with the far northwest and the far northern part of the state. They basically diminished the ability for conservative, not just conservative Republicans, but conservative Democrats to have a voice in the U.S. Congress.
Steve Pierce speaking with me here on Crazy Radio this past July. The suit was filed early last year, arguing that districts diluted Republican votes. Republicans are saying this is a case of near-perfect gerrymandering performed by the Democrats in the roundhouse. Democrats say the new map does not rise to that level. What is the level then? Attorneys say they will present evidence to show that there was partisan intent to gerrymander the districts, that the legislature accomplished that, and that the Democrats would not be able to justify any other reason for the changes that they made. Republicans called 4 witnesses to the stand yesterday, 3 Republican lawmakers and an expert. The lawmakers say they were not given a seat at the table when it came to creating a bill that drew the new maps, and that it was forced through on party lines. They told the court that the new map broke up communities of interest like oil and gas patches and made it harder for them to be represented. The case is expected to continue through Friday. Testimony will resume this morning. If the judge finds that the legislature is guilty of gerrymandering the congressional districts, the New Mexico Republican Party is requesting an immediate remedial action. 21st century slavery. Chinese immigrant workers allege they were lured to northern New Mexico under false pretenses and forced to work 14 hours a day trimming marijuana on the Navajo Nation. Remember, on the Navajo Nation, cultivating that plant is illegal. Job advertisements for the operation in Shiprock promised $200 a day, housing, and food in exchange for gardening and flower cutting. But when the workers arrived in New Mexico, the complaint says their phones and car keys were taken away, they were barred from leaving, and in some instances, family members were separated. There's also suggestions that money was withheld or never paid in the first place. Lawyers for the 15 workers say their clients were treated like animals. The lawsuit names defendants Navajo businessman and former Navajo Nation presidential candidate Dina Benally and Irving Lin, who's a Taiwanese entrepreneur. Sports and weather are coming up next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
In volleyball today, Rama at Hatch, Jal at Carlsbad, Tularosa at Hot Springs. Go, Lady Cats. In football today, Oregon Mountain heads to Cloudcroft and Carlsbad comes to Alamogordo. Go Tigers. Incidentally, Carlsbad outranks Alamogordo, but the Tigers have 3 wins and 2 losses compared to the Cavemen 1-4. This is going to be an interesting game. Your Crazy Radio spot-on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for mostly sunny skies, partly cloudy tonight and sunny tomorrow. Your high today in the basin, 89, low tonight of 62, high tomorrow, 88 degrees. In Cloudcroft, mostly sunny skies with winds gusting as high as 18 miles per hour. Partly cloudy tonight, sunny tomorrow with a 30% chance of showers and storms, winds gusting as high as 18 miles per hour. Your high today in Cloudcroft, 69, low tonight of 47, high tomorrow, 68 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. We've also launched the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel, which will feature our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. We want to take a moment to thank those that have subscribed to our channel and invite you, if you've not done so already, to please subscribe. That way you too can be kept in the loop on what's going on in the area. This concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.